'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a Yankee move stirring, at least not one that counts. As fans, all we want, players from our wish list, but Cashman and Howe, the Grinches who stole Christmas.
Hey.
What are your thoughts when facing an opponent?
There is no opponent.
And why is that?
Because the word love does not exist.
Good morning, Yankees universe, and welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew this Tuesday, December 23rd. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, and I'm joined by the fly guy, my guy, the Ace Avenue this morning, Grace Monroe. She had to take a sick day. Grace, we love you, but Ace, how you feeling, bro?
Man, let me tell you this. It's this ongoing joke that I have when people that hit me up. And they're like, Ace, how you doing? Ace, how you feeling? How you living? And I'm like, I'm just like the Yankees, man. I'm chilling. Not too much going on, man. But how are you?
It's a quiet time in the Yankees universe because nothing going on. And when I mean nothing going on, Cashman is quiet. How we don't know where he's at. Aaron Boone, he's making appearances, letting Yankee fans know that the New York Yankees are not in on email. You can read that however you want to read it. But yeah, I'm with you, Ace. It's been very quiet, but I just wanted to point something out. Like Jacob put it in the chat. I like that hat, Ace. You getting in the little festive mood, brother?
Yeah, man. Of course, more dollars out of, my pocket into the New York Yankees. You know what I'm saying? The Yankee Santa hat for those that aren't watching. Appreciate you, Jacob. Best mod in the game. And Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Absolutely. Let's shout out the chat before we continue. Theo Nosebleed section is in the building. My guy, Jonathan, how are you doing? Salute. Jacob Petruzzi, one of the best moderators that are out there. And of course, our good friend Tina, who is in the building. Another good moderator out there in the Yankee universe. Stephen B is in the building. Steph, how you doing? Oh, Stephen B, I just realized his name could be Steven or Stephen. If I fucked up his name, I do apologize. So Steven or Stephen, how you doing? Delulu Yankee fan, my brother from another mother. Let's go. Salute. We got Rero in the building. Eagle fan in the building. JTKR6QD. How are you guys doing? Guys, like always, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Share this channel on your social media platform so we can grow Uptown Sports TV. But Ace, there's something that's been a trend lately, and it's former Yankees signing with the New York Metropolitans because Luke Weaver is a New York Met. From the last time we spoke, we haven't talked about this yet. How do you feel about Luke Weaver signing with the New York Mets? That 16-year-old kid out of the Dominican Republic turning down the Yankees' offer, their verbal agreement, and also committing to the New York Mets. And what's going on in the world?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations to Luke Weaver. Anytime anybody gets a bag, congratulations to them.
Get that bag,
but,
Luke.
Once again, Dream Weaver, I'm gonna miss him, man. I had a good drop for Luke Weaver when he came on, the old school song, the Ooh Dream Weaver. I was a bit hitting with it. You got to believe he can get us through the night. Not anymore, as he's officially a New York Met. And I'm gonna tell this to everybody out there, all the Yankee fans. As you guys have Christmas dinner tomorrow, make sure you eat all your food, because if you leave any leftovers, the New York Mets will try to take them. It's as simple as that. Like, yet again, a New York, what they get? They got Devin Williams from us. They got Luke Weaver from us. They saw how good it worked out for us last year and decided we're going to go ahead and go across town and do it over there, where the fan base is going to be a lot more harder on them over there if you pull some of the shit that you pulled over here. But like I said, congratulations to Luke. He was a fan favorite, no doubt. But realistically, Luke Weaver had, like, for us, one good year. That's all it came down to. Like, even his second year, whether you want to say he dealt with injuries or, a lot of ups and downs last year, but, we just got to do what we got to do and bolster up this bullpen.
Again, shout out to Luke Weaver. Like you said, anytime somebody gets a bag, we want to celebrate that. Shout out to my man, Ben. Brew Crew is in the building. Brew, I shot you a text message literally right before you jumped in. If you're free, let me know. If you want to jump up to join the conversation, you're more than welcome to. JT says this freaking front office is making all of us Scrooges. No, 100%. But like you said, when it comes to Luke Weaver, he got the bag. Shout out to Luke Weaver for your time with the New York Yankees. I had many conversations with Luke Weaver. Great guy. Great with the fans as well. I wish him the best in Queens. The first start of this, Luke Weaver had 2 seasons last year. I look at it like this, Ace. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. The first half of the season, Luke Weaver was one of the best, if not the best closers in Major League Baseball. Then he got injured. And then he came back, I would say, a little bit too quick because the Yankees bullpen was in desperate need. Never fully recovered from his injury, and you saw it affect him the rest of the way. If the New York Mets get Luke Weaver from the first half of last year, that's a steal of a signing for the next 2 years for the New York Mets. If he regresses to what we saw in the second half of the season, the Mets may have bit themselves in a bullet. But I mean, Mets may have shot themselves in the foot. But I wish Luke Weaver the best. I'm not going to be rooting for him to fail. And he just joined that crew, former Yankees that are Mets, Yankees for Mets, as they say.
Well, we got one of our own too back, Paul Blackburn, one of theirs. So I know people are going to say that when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like Luke Weaver, you can tell there was a night and day difference before and after he hit that IL stint. Like definitely he was rushed back. But if you look at what the Yankee strategy was, Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, Cashman and company felt like and shout out to the lovely Grace Monroe who's in the building. Everybody make sure you say hi to Grace. Grace, hope you're feeling better. And Merry Christmas to you, Grace.
You got that Jason Dominguez drop?
I do have it. I do have that Jason Dominguez drop. As I'm trying to stall for time to go ahead and bring
shout out to Grace Monroe, bestie. We miss you.
Aaron Judge is the best hitter in baseball. I don't care what you think. Talking about the MVP.
She might not be on the show, but she is always on the show. You can never replace Grace. Bars right there. But yeah, when it comes to Luke Weaver, right? The Yankee strategy last year, I always believe that we will find bullpen pieces because look at what happened last year, right? Devin Williams and Luke Weaver both had a lot of ups and down seasons. Like you talked about, Luke Weaver had 2 seasons. Devin Williams felt like he had 3. That's how up and down it was for him. But the Yankees felt the need to, at the deadline, go get Duvall, go get Jake Bird, and go get that boy David Bednar. So that's one thing that, like, losing those 2 guys, at least from a Yankee standpoint, doesn't really affect me like that because I know the bullpen will be something that the Yankees will throw more money into and make a splash trade when it comes down to it. I think a full year of Duvall will help us out. Bednar, I have full hope in Duvall. Bednar's a dog. I actually have a little more faith in Jake Bird than what we saw last year in that short outing. Jake Bird was a guy that I wanted on this roster because of his strikeout percentage and what he did over there in Colorado. He was a project piece. People got to keep that in mind. Is a reason why the Yankees got him for the long term because when he struggled, what they do, they sent him down to be able to work on some things. So I want to see what they work on. And obviously, Tim Hill, guys like Tim Hill have already come back. So we're just gonna have to see because we've lost a lot of bullpen pieces this year. Those 2 guys that we named, Jonathan Loaisiga's not coming back. So it's a lot of guys that we lost. But the one thing I do trust Brian Cashman and company that they always will bolster up the bullpen.
And this is a great segue to switch over and talk about Brian Cashman because, like you said, when it comes to the bullpen, I'm interested to see what the bullpen construction is going to be the rest of the offseason. Now that we know that Devin Williams is not coming back, he's going to be in Queens. That Luke Weaver is not coming back, he's going to be in Queens. Where is Brian Cashman going to pivot? And with that being said, my man Evan from the Pinstripe Bugle says, somebody wake Brian Cashman up. Absolutely. Like you guys see, and the title of the thumbnail, it says a wake-up call. And that's what this front office needs, whether it's Brian Cashman or whether it's Hal Steinbrenner. A wake-up call needs to happen, Ace. And backstage, you and I, we were talking about it. I think one thing that is holding up the Yankees offseason, something that a lot of people aren't really talking about, that is the Cody Bellinger conversation, right? The Yankees are waiting, and you can look at it however you want to look at it. Maybe it's a good strategy. Maybe it's something that will bite them in the end, in the long run, if other teams make trades for players that they have their eye on. But the whole Cody Bellinger conversation is holding up this offseason for the New York Yankees. The Yankees are waiting until they can figure out what's going to happen with Cody Bellinger. When I was at the winter meetings, I heard chatter that the Yankees are standing firm on their 5-year offer for Cody Bellinger. I put that on Twitter. That shit went crazy. Like 500,000 views on it. But New York Yankees are standing firm with their 5-year deal. There's been other reports that Cody Bellinger and Scott Boras, they want $400 million. They want an 8-year deal, a 7-year deal. Cool. The Yankees are standing firm with their 5-year offer for the New York Yankees. And there was other chat, and I'll get your perspective on this, Ace, that the Yankees don't really feel that Kyle Tucker can handle the New York market, and they don't want to invest 8 years in Kyle Tucker because they don't think he'll work here. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah, brothers from another mother.
Grace, what's crazy is that I jumped backstage without my glasses, and I was like, hold on, Ace, I got to put my glasses. You just reminded me I got to put my glasses on. Shout out to my guy, Ace, like always, and my guy, CK Chris Caliph in the building. Shout out to my brother. Knowing Luke Weaver personally makes this thing on another level. The Yankees let a great player and even a better person walk. That hurts. Chris, and I know you put it out there, everybody that I know that messaged you on social media, everybody felt the same way or shared the same thing that I shared or thought. When that deal happened, the first person I thought about was my guy CK. You were the first person that I thought about, brother. But again, you could root for Luke Weaver, the person, and dislike the player that pitches for the New York Mets. But Luke Weaver was a good human being, like you said, CK. My fault, Ace. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, he had a lot of personality when it comes to the clubhouse as well. We saw like a lot of the clips, and you got to meet him. A lot of people got to meet him, so that's a guy that you definitely want in your locker room. Like I said, congratulations. I'm not mad at it. Congratulations to Luke Weaver. He got a bag. I hope it works well over there. But like you had said, and like we talked about backstage, it really does seem like the market has halted, I should say, because of Cody Bellinger. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you something, right? So we're hearing a lot. Yankees and other teams, it's not just us when it comes to Cody Bellinger. 4 to 5 years is what everybody's comfortable with, right? But we know Scott Boras. Scott Boras wants that 6 to 7. Which budgets first? Scott Boras or the field?
I would say it's the field.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it's the field, just because I want to say it's Scott Boras. I think because Cody Bellinger's willingness or how he wants to return to the New York Yankees, I think they will budge on their offer, right? Yeah. They may not get 7 years, 8 years. They may get a club buyout or a team buyout or mutual buyout for that 6 years, but they're not going to get the deal that they're seeking. And I think the first person to budge will be Cody Bellinger.
Yeah. I think 5 is that sweet spot, right? Because I think people will be comfortable with 4. Obviously, they want 6, 7, right? No, I just did the fucking thing, the 6, 7 meme. Yeah, that shit.
8, 9.
Shout out to all the kids out there. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the Grinch stuff. But yeah, I feel like 5 is a sweet spot, and I feel like if everybody is equal, if all things are considered equal, right, I think he'll be a New York Yankee. If teams aren't willing to go past 5 and the Yankees come up to that number 5, I feel like he'll end up being a Yankee. But realistically, does that make us any better than last year? Like, bringing back Cody Bellinger is great. I think that pretty much confirms that we're pretty much running it back, which if you ask the New York Yankees and you're hearing some of these people talk, they're saying the Yankees don't feel like they're that far off. But Cody Bellinger is a guy that I definitely think was priority number 1. I wanted him back. That good left-handed bat. I think he can have a couple solid years for us. But once you bring back Cody on like a 4 or 5 year deal, and then you add a couple of opt-outs in there, that's it. He's going to be with Aaron Judge. They're going to be coupled for the rest of Aaron Judge's career. So you have to make sure you get it done. But it's just weird to me because going into the offseason, I really would have thought Kyle Tucker would have halted the market, not Cody Bellinger. But it feels like everybody's waiting for Cody. Now, if I'm the New York Yankees in general, right, and you said they have their tough line in the sand. We've heard that all over the place, right? Yeah. Go out there and make other moves in the interim, right? Do what you got to do, and hit up Cody Bellinger too. Hit up Scott Boras and say, look, we want to get this done because we want to start making moves to make our 2026 team better. Go out there and try to make a trade. I wanted Steven Kwan. He's a guy that I've said could fit us well. Go out there and present a trade and hit Scott Boras and say, look, if you don't take this contract right here, I got a trade in the works. So I'm gonna pull this, and then, you know what, Cody? It was nice to have you for a year.
And that may be what's going on behind the scenes, right? Because I'm with you 100%. Right. The first thing I said when I talked about the Yankees and the Cody Bellinger conversation is that it may hurt them in the long run, because a trade candidate that you're looking at right now, yes, Stephen Kwan is available. Yes, Fulano may be available. This random person from this random team, they may be available on December 23rd. But who's to say next week, December 27th, that they aren't traded away while you're still waiting for Cody Bellinger and Scott Boras to figure out what they want to do.
Or the price could be steeper.
Or the price could be
today's
steeper.
price. Yeah,
absolutely. When it comes to Stephen Kwan, he plays a role, or he plays a position that the Yankees would want Cody Bellinger to fill, and that's left field. Whether it's left field, whether it's first base, you guys figure it out, but you understand what I'm saying. I think the Yankees, they're waiting on Cody Bellinger, right? Because as much as Yankee fans are dreaming about Imai, we'll get into that. I don't think the Yankees are going to sign another starting pitcher this offseason, especially when you look at their financial commitments to their starting rotation already over the next 3 to 4 or 5 seasons, right? So I don't think the Yankees are going to be willing to go big fish hunting or big market diving when it comes to Imai and bringing on a big contract. I can see the Yankees pivoting to making a trade, whether it's Edward Cabrera with the Marlins, whether it's Mackenzie Gore with the Nationals, but the Yankees are waiting for Cody Bellinger to make his decision, because say like if Cody Bellinger was to sign with the New York Mets, then the Yankees can pivot into a trade conversation or into a trade scenario where they trade for Mackenzie Gore and an outfielder from the Nationals, right? Or they trade for Edward Cabrera and an outfielder from the Marlins, right? So, the Yankees are trying to be flexible, or they pivot into Brendan Donovan, who could fit their hole in left field. So the Yankees are waiting. They're sitting back waiting to see what happens with Cody Bellinger before they pounce on another deal. Whether it's going to hurt them or help them in the long run, who knows? But I'm with you. I want the Yankees to speed up this conversation, because everybody else is getting better. Shout out to the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, signing Murakami. If you believe the reports are true, he can't hit a fastball over 93, but I guess we'll wait and see. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man, where it's really halting the market. And this has been one of the worst Yankee off seasons in the longest, man. Because like you were at the winter meetings, that's usually when things start to heat up for us. And this has just been one of those things where it's just a bunch of speculation. Right. And we do appreciate everybody that sticking around with us as, we talk in this off season, because we understand and we're as frustrated as you guys on how slow it's been, because we want our team to do good. Like Heck said, we're sitting there watching the Red Sox get better, the Blue Jays get better, the Orioles get better, and we're sitting here like, bro, we want to eat too. We want Christmas presents too. I'm sitting there like I got no presents under the tree. I want a shiny new toy as well. But when it comes to the other teams in the AL, no doubt they've gotten better. But when how much better? Because Blue Jays, no doubt, you add Dylan Cease, who is a 200 innings, 200 strikeout type pitcher. But they also haven't brought back Bo Bichette yet. The Orioles have gotten better with Pete Alonso, but they have a young core that hasn't proven themselves. Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holliday. So how good are they? The Red Sox got a lot better, in my opinion. Sonny Gray, it was a good move for them, but Contreras was a move that my nephew and I have always been talking about, because Contreras, the first base catcher option, which is what we have, I think that's a good move for them. And they're feisty, but they also haven't brought back Bregman either. So this is why it's such a frustrating season for the New York Yankees, because we're sitting here like make a move, but all the moves that could fall to us haven't been done yet either. So I want to be positive. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I'm also trying to practice patience. But it's so hard because we want to go ahead and make these moves, but I just don't think anything's really going to happen until January.
I got my guy Ben backstage from JBM Sports Media Group, Brew Crew Sports. But I want to shout out the chat before I bring up my guy Ben. Marshall Brown is in the building. Marshall Brown, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate. Shout out to you, Nathan Ramachandra, the Sports Rush. Shout out to my guy Nathan, the piggybacker of all piggybackers. Shout out to my guy Nathan. Zoe, the engineer, Lorenzo Cardona is in the building. Yankees Dave, he's another frustrated Yankee fan because he's waiting for the Yankees to do something. Shout out to my brother Yankee Dave, who is in the building. And of course, my guy from Latino Sports, C Money, Caleb Vasquez is in the building. Caleb, I'm feeling 100% better. Just so you guys know, last week we was going to have a show. We had a special guest lined up from WFAN last week, Thursday. With me traveling back and forth, you guys from California, Japan, Orlando, the winter meetings, I got sick. I got sick last week. I got hit with the neurovirus. So I was out of commission for like 48, 72 hours and stuff. Grace got upset with me last night because I went to the casino and won some money. And she said I should have been resting. Shout out to Grace Monroe. I love her so much. But we're going to bring on my guy, Ben. Ben, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to rock out. Copy. Ben, welcome to the conversation. You've been hearing us chime away. What's your thoughts on it, brother?
Yeah, I think you guys are hitting it on the dot. I don't really think that there's going to be any action for free agency until January. I think the next one we might get, like big time, is Imai. I think that's the next one that is going to fall. I think when it comes to, like you guys said, the Yankees, I think you guys are more likely to trade for a starting pitcher, if anything, than sign one. And I feel like that's why Freddie Peralta is a very interesting candidate, because he only has 1 year left on the deal. I think that could be one where you guys kind of pivot to, because it won't cost as much as a Edward Cabrera or as much as a Sandy because of the deal. So I kind of am fascinated by that. I think the Yankees have the prospects to get a Freddie Peralta trade done.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you what you thought about. Well, what do you think of not just the Yankees in general? What do you think about Freddie Peralta's marketing? And because he is a guy that with the 1 year deal could be, something that other teams look at as well. What do you think about that?
He's a very durable pitcher. He rarely gets hurt. Fingers crossed. I do believe that wherever he does go, he's going to shine out. I feel like he has, one, just the ability to light up a clubhouse. Just a great guy. Two, I think he's obviously a very solid pitcher. You know what you're going to get every other 5 days from him. He's a guy that they call Mr. Consistent at the Brewers clubhouse because he brings consistency day in and day out. I feel like whatever team he goes to, he's going to display that to the finest extent.
Now, when I was at the winter meetings, I was having conversations with many people. Shout out to my guy Julian Galarte as well from Latino Sports. Him and Bobby as well. We were down there crushing it, representing Latino sports. But the many conversation I was having, I felt, right, and Ace and Ben, I'll get your take on it. I felt when it comes to the Yankees, they're going to prioritize the trade market, specifically pitchers that have controllable years. That's why Mackenzie Gore and Edward Cabrera name got thrown in there. When it comes to Freddie Peralta, I view Freddie Peralta as their backup plan if they cannot pull off any of those trades. If the asking price for prospects is a little bit too much, the Yankees can trade from their MLB ready already position players or starting pitchers like a Will Warren, some of their young guys, Luis Hill, for Freddie Peralta. With Freddie Peralta being a 1 year rental, the asking price for him will kind of be cheaper than it will be from Mackenzie Gore, who's younger with controllable years, and Edward Cabrera, who's younger with controllable years. What's your thoughts on that? And shout out to my guy Mets Life in the building. Salute. What's your guys' take on that?
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right when it comes for the control. I think the deal to get a Freddie Peralta deal done, I think it will be easier than to get a Mackenzie Gore deal done because of Freddie Peralta basically being a 1 year rental. So I absolutely agree with you on that. I do believe what you're getting out of Freddie Peralta. That's the thing. So it won't be a big package, but at the same time, I know the Brewers aren't going to go in there, especially I know it's just Shane Baz and he has hella years of control, but I mean, the Orioles, if you look at what they gave up for Shane Baz recently, I mean, come on, man, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Ace?
Yeah, I definitely think we're gonna end up attacking the trade market more than anything else. I'm gonna tell you this. People gonna call me crazy because of the two teams that I'm about to talk about, but it wouldn't be the first time that we've made deals with each other. I'd hit the Red Sox for Brian Bayo. Coming off a solid year. He's a guy that's out there. You want to talk about somebody that you can control as well. Some reports are saying that he could be on the block. We'll ultimately see what happens, but that's a guy that I would hit up for. But yeah, when it comes to arms, you want to get controllable arms, no doubt. But The short term one when it comes to Freddie Peralta as like the backup to the backup plan wouldn't bother me, because I do think if the Yankees wanted him, it's a guy that they could probably extend as well, depending on his market. But I think the Yankees ultimately, and this is what scares me, and I think the Yankees look at their situation when it comes to the arms like we're gonna be fine. We just have to survive the spring, because you're gonna get guys like Cole back, you get guys like Rodon back as well. That's why they got Ryan Yarbrough. That's why they got Paul Blackburn. So it scares me that they're just going to have a bunch of stop gaps until those big guys come back. But you got to go out there and get yourself another starting caliber pitcher.
Yeah, I just want to take a second real quick. We got over 115 people watching us collectively, whether you're watching us on Instagram, whether you're watching us on X or Facebook. Click the link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube and join this beautiful community and great conversation. We got 31 people in the YouTube chat. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys are following my guy, the Ace Avenue, as well. Subscribe to his channel. The link to it is in the description of this video. Ben, let them know where they can find you and the fellas. I'll go grab the YouTube link and put it in the chat.
Absolutely. Find us on JBM Sports Media on YouTube. And if you want to find me personally for Brewers content, any type of Wisconsin sports, Brew Crew SW on TikTok, Instagram, everything that has to do with Wisconsin sports, I cover that.
Let's go.
Go
ahead.
Let me ask y'all something, since this was brought up by Jonathan. He said he could see ERC making it in a rotation. Would it be the worst thing in the world to put some of young arms in there and give them a shot just to kind of see what you kind of have?
I don't. I think
think so either.
When it comes to the Yankees, Luis Hill has probably been one of the only arms. Now you got Slittler now, that the power arms. Now you can put Slittler into that conversation that the Yankees have developed. Much as I love Will Warren, he's not a power arm like the two guys that I just mentioned. No. So if you can have a guy like Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who could strike out some of the best in the minors, has great stuff, has great control, has great velo as well. If he could be somebody that can be a bullpen piece, something like Jabba Chamberlain was when he first came up, or Phil Hughes when the Yankees won the World Series in 2009, if you can utilize your power arms young, and then as they get older, they fizzle out. You use them in trades to bring in somebody else or move them about. I think that's the way the Yankees should try to operate when it comes to using their minor league system.
Yeah, and he's the guy that we got from Boston as well. So,
and the one thing, talk about Imai, right? Because I want to bring this up. I want to ask you guys. When I was at the winter meetings and I put this tweet out, after talking with a few members of the Japanese media, somebody that I trust, really trust, I got the sense from them that the Yankees are not really in when it comes to the Japanese pitchers or any of the Japanese players that are coming over to the States. And I say that to say this. When you look at the Yankees' financial commitments to their starting rotation over the next let's just say next 3 to 4 years, this season, Max Fried is making $14 to $15 million. Shout out to Brian Cashman, who came up with this creative as structure for his payroll. Last year, he made the same amount. This year, he's making 14 to 15. The next following seasons, he's making $31 million. Garrett Cole, he already makes $36 million. You got Carlos Rodon making $27 to $28 million. I do not see the New York Yankees, especially with the way that Hal Steinbrenner and the front office have been signaling to fans about, having a payroll financial issues or trying to restructure how they spend money. I do not see the Yankees committing $25 million plus to another starter in the rotation, especially when Tariq Skubal is a free agent next year, and you have the Paul Skeens trades conversations that's going to be in the background for the next 2 or 3 seasons. Am I off base by saying that?
I don't believe so. I think you're on the dot. I think they right now know that a guy like Tariq Skubal's out there next free agency, and I feel like they're going to be one of the main ones going for a guy like Skubal, and I think that's where they should pivot for. If they do, that's why I bring up the Freddie Peralta. If you want to take a rental, even, you're not going to give up big time prospects at all. If you want to just do that, and obviously, like I said, what you're going to get with him, consistency. So you could do that as a cheaper way out, and at the same time, it's not even a bad option at all. So do that, and then in the free agency market next year, target Scooble.
You just want Elmer Rodriguez Cruz.
I do.
I
do.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Ace.
I mean, I'm right there with you guys, but I'm also in the mindset of do both. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get yourself a guy now, and then go get yourself a Tariq Skubal or a Paul Skeens as well. That'll show you that the Yankees are serious and standing on business when they're like, okay, we're going to do this move. We're going to try to plan for the future, but also try to win now. Because I'm tired of kicking the can down the road. I'm tired of looking for the future and be like, okay, this could happen. Because, yeah, Tariq Skubal, real possibility, but you also got Steve Cohen out there who has dumped a lot of players on that side and trying to build the team in his image. Who's to say he doesn't throw a bag at him and you get left holding nothing? Who's to say the same thing with Paul Skeens? We don't really know. That's why I want to go out there and make a move that you can do now. But with our rotation, we talked about this a couple times in our group chat too, heck. Our rotation on paper looks good. We've had years in the past where our rotation has looked really good on paper, but then we know somebody's going to get injured. That's how it always works when it comes to this. Now we're having a couple of guys that start off on the injury report on the IL. So it's about holding the fort down until those guys come back, but you don't know what we're going to get from Garrett Cole. Are we getting Cy Young Garrett Cole? He is a little bit older dealing with this injury. Carlos Rodon didn't have an elbow when he last time he pitched. We don't know. It's a lot of question marks in my opinion. As far as guys like we have now, Max Fried pitched a lot of innings for us last year, constantly deals with the blister injuries. What's going on with him? Cam, love Cam, fan favorite. Is he going to take a sophomore slump? Are people going to be able to figure him out? A bunch of question marks. Will Warren, we don't know what's going on with him. Luis Hill, doesn't really seem like the Yankees really like him too much, just based on how they play him out there. But it's a lot of question marks. That's why I'm all for going to get a guy like Imai, for multiple reasons. It makes this team better. Imai, in my opinion, good number 2, great number 3, would be a phenomenal number 4 in this rotation over here. And on top of that, you tap right back into the Japanese market. In my opinion, I would definitely go for Imai.
I'm right there with you. Everything you said, Ace, is perfect. I am right there with you. I would love for the New York Yankees to open up that pocketbook and add another starting pitcher that's unknown in the U.S. Give him 25, 28, 29 million. We know how the Yankees operate. Yep. We've seen this story. It's a copy and paste story we've seen for the past 5 or 6 off seasons. And I think when it comes to Brian Cashman in this front office, as frustrating as it is, they're trying to plan for the future. And when you look at the future, who would you rather invest if you're going to invest money in? Imai or Tariq Skubal, who's a free agent next offseason? I think the Yankees are trying to go big and trying to get Tariq Skubal. But before the winter meetings happen and during the winter meetings, all the chatter was the New York Mets are going to put together a trade package for Tariq Skubal. It has gone quiet when it comes to that. It has gone very quiet with the Mets and Tariq Skubal. Now the chatter starting to circulate around the New York Mets and Ketel Marte. And I think the New York Mets are pivoting their prospect capital to target a second baseman like Ketel Marte, who is versatile, who could play center field, left field, right field, third base, wherever you want to put Marte is where you can put him. And that's why I think the Mets are going to go. And next offseason is going to come down to Steve Cohen and Hal Steinbrenner, the New York Yankees and the New York Mets, both competing for Tariq Skubal. And what's a good way for the Yankees to get one back up on the New York Mets? By signing Tariq Skubal.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's way possible. I think Tariq Skubal's market, I find it very hard to believe at this point, especially with some of the contract offers he's been getting from Detroit to extend. It's been mediocre offers, and I feel like he's going to look for the best offer possible. And I feel like if the Yankees have an underwhelming offseason, like unfortunately they have been having so far, I mean, what a way to turn it around by signing a guy Skubal next year. I think that'd be fantastic for you guys. Yeah.
You got to look at it in the next 3 years. Garrett Cole's money comes off the book. Carlos Rodon's money comes off the book. Max Fried is going to be at the end of his contract that he signed with the New York Yankees. You're going to need a number 1 starting pitcher after that. And like you said, Ace, you don't know what you're going to get from Garrett Cole. And yes, the AL East, it has gotten better. Jacob, we're going to get to your question. I didn't forget your question. I just wanted to mark it and save it, but we will get to your question for Brew. When you look at the rest of the AL East, right? Let's say the Red Sox, right? Because you talk about the Red Sox and Brian Bello may be up on on the trade market. But when you look at the Boston Red Sox, yes, they have Garrett Crochet. A 60 or 70% Garrett Cole is still better than Sonny Gray.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you.
You know, Kevin Gausman, is he better than Garrett Cole?
No, but see, that's how the Yankees look at though. Like, this is why, like, this is
Dylan
the Yankee
Cease is
thought
not
process
better than
too.
Garrett Cole.
Dylan Cease is still pretty damn good though. He's not better than Garrett Cole, but he's still a pretty good damn piece though. That's how the Yankees. Yeah, that's how the Yankees look at it though. The Yankees look at this like we weren't that far off. Just imagine if we had a full year of Garrett Cole. That's how they look at it, as if it would be the difference. Now, granted, it could be the difference. We very well know. We don't know if it could be the difference or not, because it came down to the very last game. We were tied up, and the whole situation might be different if we end up with the division. We don't know, but Garrett Cole is a difference maker on this team, but we just don't know which Garrett Cole we're going to get back. But on top of that, I also want to add. I want Garrett Cole back, but I also want to add on as well.
Sorry, I'm sorry if you guys heard the notifications. I was getting my Brian Cashman Zell for captain for the team. Go ahead, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, just to answer Jacob's question about either keeping Miguel or keeping Peralta, I would rather keep Peralta. Miguel, I think that's one I'd be more okay with trading, just with how the Brewers develop relief pitchers. I think that's one thing they've always done so great. And trading a guy like Miguel, he has good control on him left. I think that could be something where we could get a decent return as well. I would rather keep Freddie, though, because I know how still important he is to a starting rotation. And if we keep him, we brought back Woodruff, I think it'd be very important to keep Freddie if it does happen. And honestly, a little bit, I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen because I think the Brewers are kind of going to outprice themselves, because they're going to see the starting pitching market right now and how it is. And they're going to ask for a little bit too much for a rental, and they're going to just end up keeping him. And let's say we're somehow floating 500 at the trade deadline. That's when I think they're going to actually make the move.
Yeah. If you guys can't, go ahead. My fault.
No, I was about to say, keep both of those. Send us over. I'm a butcher his last name. Jacob Mizorowski.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep both of them and send him over here.
Guys, I just put in the chat right now. I just put the link to JBM Sports Media. Make sure you guys give him a subscribe over there on YouTube. My guy Ben, Roro, JV as well. I think Roro said he's going to join us. He's a little bit under the weather, but shout out to the fellas. We're going to be rocking out during the MLB offseason and during the season as well. I apologize. I've been sick as a dog, recovering from traveling, and the Christmas season it's here. It's upon us. Everybody has been getting gifts. And so far, there's no gifts under the Yankees Christmas tree. When it comes to the New York Mets, there's a lot of coal under their Christmas tree. I want to ask you, Ben, as somebody who David Stern came up with the Brewers. Mm-hmm. You see what's going on with the New York Mets. Our guy Roro, Mikey Caliendo in the chat. Roro, I hope you feel better as well. But I know Roro is feeling it right now. Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Edwin Diaz, but the first three, the core is gone. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on that real quick? Ace, I'll get your take on it as well, and folks in the chat before we continue the conversation. Go ahead, bro.
I think this is kind of Stearns' idea. This is his plan. I think this is his offseason where he's taking the narrative of the Mets, and I think I want to shout out Rowe because he made a great point. They obviously had interest in bringing back Diaz. I don't know if it was more so Alonso, but they weren't going to keep doing the same thing, bringing these guys back, because to be quite frank, they haven't gotten the results. They haven't been to a World Series. They've had a minimal playoff success. At the same time, I think Stearns decided to do this offseason. Look, we're going to find these players that fit the narrative of the team, run prevention, and we're going to rebuild this team or retool it in a way, not rebuild it, retool it in a way where he could finally find the identity of this team and what's going to make this team successful. And I actually really believe in them and what they're doing this offseason. I think, if anything, if they would have kept doing the same thing and let's say it just doesn't work out next season, keep on doing the same thing, you're going to become insane. And I feel like at the same time, Stearns knows exactly the blueprint that he had with the Brewers. And I'm not saying that he's doing it exactly with the Mets because they have more money. Yes, that's true. But he's putting that blueprint into factor, and I think he's going to see their weakness, and I feel like getting guys that, you know, obviously are good at run prevention, like Simeon. Obviously, I think also they're not done. I think they might be in the Bellinger market as well. I think they're doing the right thing, and I actually really like what they're doing. They're kind of, in a way, just finding the needs of the team and attacking that little by little.
Yeah, I just want to say we got over 140 people watching us collectively. If you guys can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're on X, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, click the link, jump on over to YouTube. We got over 42 people sitting in the YouTube chat. Shout out to the chat. Appreciate you guys. One of the best chats that are out there. My man JoJo is in the building. Stearns has no clue on what he is doing. And you say the Mets 3 times and a Met fan's going to pop up. I got to bring up my brother from my guy Mikey Cariendo Roro from JBM Sports Media. Hold on, where's it at? Because he's there. Roro, now your face just disappeared. There it is.
Sorry, guys. All right, so forgive me first of all because I sound awful. I'm battling, I guess, maybe what Hector just had.
I sent it to you via text message. I apologize.
No, you're good. To piggyback off what Ben had mentioned, me and him been talking about this like crazy. I've been looking to do like a video about all this with the Mets offseason so far, and you know the way I view it, the fan in me, the emotional part of me as a Met fan, obviously this stings. You know, I love Nimmo, I loved Alonso, I love Diaz. McNeil was cosi. But you know what? The reality of it is, I mean, they haven't done anything. No division titles. They wasted a 100-win season. You know, they went on their run 2 years ago, and that was all fun. That was all great. But they didn't rebound and capitalize off of it. Now, I'm not saying that it's Diaz's fault or Alonso's fault, but you can go back to the Dodgers, right? The Dodgers made similar moves that were gut-wrenching to the fan base. Corey Seager was let go. They didn't even go after him. Cody Bellinger was let go. 2 big fan favorites. Justin Turner, they moved on from him. He was more of an aging superstar, but they let go of a lot of huge, big fan favorites. So at what point, and if you look at the Dodgers too, they were even closer than the Mets ever got. You know, they were a World Series appearance, they lost. NLCS appearances, they lost. They got a lot closer. And they had to make that difficult decision to look themselves in the mirror.
Cut out for a second, see if he comes back.
I apologize.
You're good.
I apologize again. I don't know can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we get you. It was David Stearns trying to join.
So they had to make those difficult decisions and to move on from the core that was not winning. So the Mets just did that. At what point, like I said, do you re-sign all these guys and it still doesn't work, and then you make the notion of, all right, now it's not working. Now we have aging superstars that we can't move on from. We're gonna have to eat salary just to get rid of them in X, Y, and Z. So I mean, I understand from a logic standpoint why the Mets did what they did.
Let me ask you something, right? Do you think the Mets might have jumped the gun with this whole move? Well, you back. Do you think the Mets might have jumped the gun with this whole move because like Soto just got there, and you know a couple of things fall here and there. You guys make it to the playoffs. You never know what happens because it did come down to 162. Do you think they might have overreacted, or are you all for this blowing up the core? That was a question for you, Mike. I think
he's having some technical difficulties. Roro, refresh, like exit out the studio and come back in. I promise you, this is not a doppelganger. This is just JV from JBM Sports Media. JV, what's good, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, sexy. How's it going? Gorgeous.
I'm good, bro. How's everybody going? What's going on, Ace? What's up, bro? How's everybody doing?
What's up, guys?
Driving from the city right now. It's kind of crazy. City is packed right now.
Roro, you good now?
Yeah, I could actually hear now.
Okay, go ahead.
I missed what was said, so I can't even respond to.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I asked you, like, how do you feel about the core breaking up? Are you with it? Are you against it? Do you feel like it was too premature, considering that you guys only had 1 year with Soto? So, I mean, one or two things fall your way. You might get yourself into a playoff spot. You never know what could happen. But do you feel like maybe they should have just gave it one more year with this core and Soto, or are you cool with them blowing up the core?
No, I don't think you would have got another year out of it because, I mean, look at Alonso, for example. You know, the Red Sox supposedly made an offer to him, and the only team to touch the 5-year mark was the Orioles. I think there's a reason for that. I dug into this pretty deep as far as first baseman, especially first baseman like Pete Alonso. Unfortunately, they do not age well. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen to him, but I mean, if you go by the numbers, they don't age well. Nimmo, I'm going to be honest, as much as I love him as a fan, I think that contract is going to age poorly, and I think his best years are unfortunately behind him. He might have a great year in Texas. That's all possible. And I think he has the capability and the talent to do so. But he's also been dealing with some lingering injuries over the years that, you know, when is it going to become a point where he falls off a cliff and he is nowhere what he used to be? So that was where it came to, like I said, you had to make those difficult decisions. I mean, even Jeff McNeil, they practically gave him away. And you look at a guy like him, he's 4 years removed from batting title. He is not that player anymore. You know, he's in his mid to late 30s. He's getting up there, and it was time to cut the cord, unfortunately.
Do you think a Lindor trade is coming, as Grace Monroe would love to know? You see, David Stearns is fucking with my guy's service. That's what that shit is.
He did say these fans are idiots, and now he's out here, you know, getting everybody. So
yeah, so I'm just Roro. If you want to rejoin, you can just rejoin or whatever from the link. But this is what I'm going to say real quick before I pass it all over to Ace and JV and Ben and folks in the chat as well. Hit that like button. If you got any questions, drop it in the chat as well. When it comes to how the New York Mets and David Stearns are operating this offseason, yes, they invested that money into Juan Soto the year before. The year that Aaron Judge messed his toe up, I think the year before 62, that year, I think the Yankees should have tanked. That was the year Jason Dominguez got brought up, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the year the Yankees, at the trade deadline, they should have did what the New York Mets are doing right now. I felt that the Yankees, you're not going to make the postseason. You might as well bring up the young players, trade off your veterans, trade DJ LeMahieu, do whatever you can to get this person off your contracts, get this person off your books, do whatever you can, get some fresh legs into the organization. That's what I felt the Yankees should have done. The Yankees were 5 spots away in the draft before Jason Dominguez came up and they started playing above 500 for the rest of the season. They were 5 spots away in the draft from selecting where the A's selected. And do you know who the A's selected that year, Ace?
Who?
Nick Kurtz.
Wow.
And I remember having that conversation with my with TC Steels about, hey, the Yankees should just sell their young players, let the young kids play, let the punches roll, let the Yankees get back in, to the draft. Let's get a high draft pick and let's go young. We didn't do that. Granted, would the Yankees have drafted Nick Kurtz? Absolutely not. They probably would have drafted somebody else. But I'm just saying, I do not mind what the Mets and David Stearns is doing, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. That year in particular, I remember, was a very frustrating trade deadline because the Yankees were kind of just sitting on their hands. I believe that was the year that we just added Kenyon Middleton to the rotation. And then we just called it a day. Like, the Yankees were, it's like they had their foot in the water, but they didn't know what to do with it. Like, are you in or are you out? Because that's where they were. They should have just made a split decision, because as soon as Judge went out, like, this team is done. And unfortunately, you know, knock on wood, that's kind of how this team is built, dude. This team is built around Aaron Judge. Unlike how the Dodgers have built their team, where if Shohei Ohtani misses time, the team is still good enough to at least make it to the postseason. If Aaron Judge doesn't have the year that he always has and is the greatest player in all of baseball, like the lovely Grace Monroe always says, this Yankee team will struggle because the roster construction is bad. It's as simple as that. Like you said, we had an opportunity to kind of just, you know, give older players away, but they didn't do it.
JV saying that his audio went out. It's all right, JV. If you want, you could just rejoin, just refresh and just rejoin. But yeah, it's a lot that's going on when it comes to, he said, heck, you can't break up a core and bring in younger players. No, I get that. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying trade away Aaron Judge or anything like that, JoJo. What I'm saying is that trade deadline when DJ LeMahieu was on the opposite side of 30, could have figured something out for DJ LeMahieu. You could have figured something out for I think Josh Donaldson's bum ass was still on the team at that time.
Was it Hicks still on the team?
Aaron Hicks was still on the team
Yeah.
as well. I think that's when I think Anthony Rizzo was still on the team. At the time, I just felt the Yankees should have just went younger. But shout out to JoJo, who is in the building watching over there on X. And shout out to everybody who is in the building that's watching us collectively. We got 124 rocking with us, 33 in the YouTube chat. Shout out to everybody who is here. Let me shout out to Grace Monroe, the lovely Grace Monroe. Yankee Dave is in the building. Shout out to my guy Yankee Dave. Roro, my fault.
Hello again.
No, you good. I can imagine the service
is
busy as
No,
New York.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's people calling my phone. I'm doing this from my phone, and people are calling it, and it's screwing up my connection with you guys.
It's crazy because nobody wants to call you when you're not doing nothing. But the moment that you're doing something, everybody and their mother want to call you.
That's why you be hearing the phones vibrating all day. Like, bro, come on, man. You got to get that little on-air bulb.
It's when I'm actually busy or asleep, then my phone rings. When I'm up and active and waiting for the phone to ring, nothing.
Yeah. But real quick, just to pivot because we got about like 6 to 10 minutes left. This offseason has been very quiet and confusing for both fan bases in New York, for both the Yankees and for the Mets. Last winter meetings, the New York Mets and David Stern, they were the talk of the town. Got Juan Soto. Even Brian Cashman, he got a little cheer from the Yankees faithful. He pivoted beautifully, in my opinion, when it came to losing out on Juan Soto by bringing in Max Fried. You got Cody Bellinger. You bring in Cody Bellinger. I thought that was a beautiful pivot. But then right now, this 1 year later, 12 months to the day, the New York Yankees and the New York Mets are the biggest losers coming out of the winter meetings. And right before Christmas, in our opinion, you got the Oakland Athletics taking on money and Jeff McNeil. Like, what is going on here? The Oakland Athletics have committed more money this offseason than the New York Yankees have. That's crazy.
Well, that's not true. We got Trent Grisham for $22 million.
You know what? I'm wrong. Right, I apologize. You know what? I'm sorry.
And also, it's hard to call them Oakland. They're kind of homeless right now, so they don't know where they at. So,
the LA, Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's so weird though, right? Because and this is beautiful for New York sports and New York talk up there, right? Because like it's a tale of two different stories. You got the Yankees that are sitting on their asses, not doing anything, and the Mets that are just saying, "Let's clean house." So it's hard to say who has it worse.
I think the Mets got more of the sting. I'm seeing a lot of from the fan bases, the groups that I'm in, like the fan groups that I'm in, and they're freaking out. They're freaking out. And that's why I wanted to do a video just to kind of bring this back down to reality and maybe try to get people to understand at least the logic behind it. Now, listen, I'm not in those rooms with David Stearns. I would love to be. Unfortunately, I'm not. So when I see things are starting to happen, even with Alonso, I'll jump back to that for a second. When they were so reluctant to go past 3 or 4 years, it was like, why? There's got to be a reason. So, like I told Heck, like I told Ben, I really dug into all these power hitting first basemen that we've seen growing up that are no longer playing the game anymore. Some of the guys that are on their way out. I went as far back as my dad's era. I went as far back as before my dad's era. And they all break down relatively the same. So that was at least the logic. They didn't want to go years-wise. I don't care what the Mets would have offered Pete as far as money. It ain't my money. I don't care. It would have been the years and how it would have tied them up. Because then you get to a point where you have an aging first baseman who is now a shell of himself, who's not hitting the way he used to. I mean, we've seen some of his down points of his career. He flails at pitches. It doesn't look great. So when that ages well, it doesn't age well, and the power is gone. What's the threat?
Mm-hmm.
And I would also like to say real quick, I don't understand what the hell is going on in New York. We're literally just signing each other's players.
Yeah, I think I've never been there's never been a time in New York sports, whether it's the NBA, MLB, or even the NFL, that I've seen this happen.
It's not going to work over here. Maybe it'll work over there. That's what they're thinking.
It's just a 8 mile difference. I brought this up before, and I'm not going to be the person to be like, I hate to say I told you so. But when it comes to the Mets and Steve Cohen, I love Steve Cohen. I love his wife. I love what they're trying to do in Queens. I love everything that Titi Alex Cohen. I love her to death. She is so nice, so sweet. She, I always say hi to her. We always have conversations whenever I'm on the field, working the games. But when it comes to Steve Cohen, he got this offseason what he wanted, and that was his casino. He was okay. He was okay in acquiring the New York Mets, spending all of that money, because in reality, his big venture was the casino and his stake in the casino. He purchased that, like he is in charge of that land or whatever the deal is. He secured himself yearly off the top. He's getting $250 million every year from that casino. Off the top.
Yeah.
So as much as I want to buy into the billionaire Met super fan who purchased the team so he could run it like his fantasy team and just spend money and just burn money. Yeah, we saw that. We saw him spending money and we saw him burning money. But as soon as the casino got purchased, or as soon as the permits and everything was approved by the city, Edwin Diaz became a Dodger. Pete Alonso became an Oriole. Brendan Nimmo was traded. Jeff McNeil was traded. All of those moves happened after the permits and everything was approved for the casino. I don't want to look like a conspiracy theorist, but that's a big ass coinky dink.
Could I ask you a question?
What's up?
So Cohen has thrown his wallet at this situation for the 5 years that he's been here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. What is the common denominator to that? It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. It's made the fans feel good. We lost Jacob deGrom. They signed Max Scherzer.
There it is. He just brought favors from the fan base and the community. My fault. Go ahead.
It unfortunately has not worked. Sometimes throwing money at things doesn't mean you're going to get what you want. And that's proven right here and now. The Dodgers are doing it, and it's working. The Yankees did it in the past. Other teams have done it in the past. We've seen it across all different sports. They argued with the Rangers in the 90s. They bought the cup. That's all over the place. A lot of teams. How many times have the Red Sox? How many times have the Yankees? How many times have the Mets had the highest, second highest, third highest payroll, and they haven't done anything? What Cohen has done over the last 5 years, I think he learned a very humbling lesson. I can't throw my wallet at this and it's going to work. And he's failed. I don't want to say miserably. They got a 100-win season out of it, but also you failed miserably because you got bounced in the first round to the Padres. You have come away with no division titles. So him throwing his wallet at it, now he did it one last time last year, obviously with Soto and everything like that, brought back Pete, everything like that. And now Stearns is kind of probably looking at him like, oh, can we try it my way now? And I think that's where we are.
Yeah. Shout out to my guy Froggy Fresh in the building. One of the only Astro fans that I don't want to choke out is my guy Froggy Fresh. I love you, baby. Hope all is well. No, I see, I hear exactly what you're saying, and it makes sense. The whole spending money to make the fan base look good was in my opinion, was to buy good faith from the fan base and from the community, so the casino could get approved.
Oh, yeah.
That casino almost did not get approved, and that's with him having all this positive press. It almost got shut down. Go ahead, Ace. My fault.
My question is this: do y'all Met fans get casino credits for your pain and suffering that y'all about to put through? Because y'all did y'all jobs. I'm gonna tell you this. Hold on, Cohen last year called y'all out and said basically was like, "I got Juan Soto. Y'all better show up." Met fans showed up. The attendance was really good last year. And then turns around. Yeah. Then turns around and does this. So it's like, to all the Met season ticket holders out there, everybody buying tickets. It's expensive. We know how it is. Heck, you in the city, you know exactly what it's like. Everybody that's out there, like, it's expensive as hell. Y'all did y'all part. And now it feels like y'all got betrayed by y'all own owner who cares more about, blackjack and all that stuff. And it sucks. I feel bad for y'all.
I'm going to say this, and I've said this again before. It's good that Steve Cohen is an owner in Major League Baseball. It's good that the Guggenheim Group, they're owners in Major League Baseball. The Rogers Group is good that they are owners like that in Major League Baseball, because they put the pressure on the Hal Steinbrenners of the world, on the owners of the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Detroit Tigers, et cetera, to spend money, because the Dodgers wouldn't be winning all these championships if the if the Red Sox would have just paid Mookie Betts, if the Tampa Bay Rays would have paid Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell, right? If the Atlanta Braves and Freddie Freeman's agent didn't do whatever dumb shit that they did, Freddie Freeman would have still been a Brave. Olsen probably would have been traded someplace else. If the owners spend money, the Dodgers wouldn't be able to do what they do. The Mets wouldn't be able to do what they do, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's good that we have owners like that in baseball. I want that to be said first before people think I'm just bashing rich people, which I do a lot of the time.
I mean, I get it. I do, and I understand how it does look. I mean, I hope there's at least a $10 blackjack credit after every loss. I'll take it. Hopefully there aren't that many. But what are you gonna do? As far as the whole casino thing, I mean, we'll see how this all plays out. We could sit here and absolutely do that. A lot of Met fans feel that way. That he got the Mets just to get his casino. I personally don't think that's the case. I think he learned his lesson the hard way. And now, like I said, I think David Stern's just kind of looking at him like, can we try it my way now? Like, can we develop my way? Because look at what I did to the farm system. We got arguably the number one ranked farm system in baseball. We can go get anybody essentially that we want. We can put together any package for any player, name them, we can match it. They have that power now. We'll see. I mean, listen, there is still, unfortunately, because we're all, biting our fingers and freaking out. But the reality is there is a ton of offseason left. There's a ton of talent still out there for both of us, So who's gonna do something? And you know what? I swear to God, the next trade or signing from either team, Yankees or Mets, better not be a former Yankee or Met, because we both signed, I believe, 3 players apiece, and 2 out of the 3 used to play for the other side. I'm tired of this back and forth because it's a constant argument with my friends that are Yankee fans.
I kind of want the Yankees to sign Wilmer Flores just to end the conversation.
That would hurt. That would hurt more than a lot of other things. Wilmer Flores, I really pray to God that he comes back for just one more season. He needs to don that uniform one more time.
Shout out to my guy Anthony Gallo from WFAN, my bro, and our group chat with me, him, Pete, and Al. Gallo, he's trolling all the Met fans because he wants Wilmer Flores back with the New York Mets. Shout out to my guy Anthony Gallo in the building and Wilmer Flores. Roro, last take before I let you go because we're about to wrap things up. Let the people know where they can find you, brother.
Guys, we as the name states, Hector's threw it in the chat for us 100 times. We are JBM Sports Media. You met Ben, you met Jay. We post pretty frequently. It's been a little down lately. I've been under the weather. TikTok, if you guys are there, I am Rostep22. That's a nod to Grandpa. And that's basically it. Hector, Ace, it's always a pleasure to be up here with you guys. Two Yankee fans I could sit here and talk to for hours because you guys get it. You guys get it. I appreciate your show. You guys are great as always.
Appreciate you, Roro. Love you, brother.
Man. Thanks, man. Hey, next year you can have Trent Grisham if you want. So you can see his reaction, but next year Trent Grisham will be available. He'll be a Met. So
you could definitely have Trent Grisham. Ace, before we get out of here, Aaron Judge was named. Obviously, Aaron Judge, World Baseball Classic. What's your take on the World Baseball Classic? Are you excited? Because I'm rooting for Team PR.
Oh, of course. I mean, Team DR looks stacked though. Like you saw that we talked about this in the group chat. That roster looks stacked. So Team DR, Team Japan is always going to be very formidable. Of course, we got to root for the homeboy Aaron Judge, Captain America. But yeah, we'll ultimately see what happens. But yeah, World Baseball Classic is always a good time. Can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like you said, that DR team looks stacked. The PR team can't wait to root for it. I was asking Carlos Beltran, what's the hair dye going to be? Because I'm going to dye my beard, whatever color it is. So be on the lookout for that. But happy holidays. I want to say Merry Christmas to you, Ace. I appreciate you so much, brother. You jumping on with me and Grace. We're gonna do crazy and beautiful things in 2026. Shout out to Grace Monroe as well. Love her as well. Go ahead, bro. Floor is yours before we get out of here.
Man, appreciate you as well, man, for, welcoming me to this platform. You guys are amazing. You and the lovely Grace Monroe, all the guests that we've had on here are truly a good time. Merry Christmas to you too. Merry Christmas to the chat as well. Take this time to just spend with your family. It's as simple as that because, the older we get, we don't know how many more of these Christmases that we'll get to really enjoy. And, I'm coming from a place where I always put, full disclosure out there. My family is actually moving for the first time, like away from me, out of state. So it's like, this is going to be a very important Christmas for me. And I want you guys to go out there and just enjoy it as well. And just, have something to cheer about. The Yankees haven't given us much to cheer about, but we're going to relish in the fact that we are all in this shit together.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. Shout out to everybody who has followed us across every platform. The TikTok is growing. The YouTube is growing. The X is going dye it blue. Listen, if they dye it blue, if blue's the color, then it's going to be blue. It's going to be fucking weird as hell to see. I'm we're looking like a Smurf walking down the street. That's the last color I want it to be. But appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week after Christmas, before the New Year's. We'll be back next week. I'm also Ace. I'm working the pinstripe, bro, at Yankee Stadium. So this is my first time back at Yankee Stadium next week, December 27th,
Nice.
after Christmas. So it's my first time back at the stadium since the Yankees played. So I'm excited for that. It's a football game, so I can't wait for that. My first time covering it.
Okay, dope. Can't wait to see the footage that you put out there, man. Should be a really good time. But yeah, we'll be back next week. The final show of 2025. What a 2025 it's been. Great conversations, great people, and it was just such a good year. It really was.
Yeah, beautiful time. Shout out to my guy Zoe the engineer, Lorenzo Cardona in the building. Jose Medina, mi hermano de la isla, is in the building. Jose, John the Beagle Dad, Froggy Fresh, my only Astro fan who loves to talk about random prospects like the 50th prospect in their system. Shout out to Mikey Caliendo, the Pinstripe Bugle. Tell me if I'm wrong. Stearns and Cohen's is sending a message to their players, not the fan. It's a message to the players: perform or you're out of here. Shout out to you, Pinstripe Bugle. I appreciate you. Stephen B is in the building. Steve, I appreciate you. Grace Monroe. Shout out to Grace Monroe. Who else? JoJo is in the building. Yankee Dave. Jacob Petruzzi, Tino is in the building. Theo Nosebleed section. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, I'm Hector.
Yours truly, the Ace.
And this is the Yankees Morning Brew. And we are out of here. Arriba the Dirty. Adios.
Merry Christmas.